Thanks for joining us this evening as we celebrate another great year at Arubah. Over the last few months, I've been seeking the Lord and what He wants me to share with you tonight. And so He's made it very clear that I am to tell you the story of Arubah. I love telling the story of Arubah, and there are so many details and so many intimate moments that I wish I had an entire day with each of you to tell you every detail. This is what the Lord has told me, is that to tell of my story is to tell of Him. In 2009, I had a dream of opening my own clinic in Collinsville and taking care of kids. So my husband and I put together a budget and realized very quickly that that number was really high. So we laughed and said, oh, it'll never happen. Where do you get that money? And so we just wrote it off. In 2010, April of 2010, I was diagnosed with cervical cancer. And while I was on medical leave, I had a friend recommend to me the book Crazy Love by Francis Chan. And so I didn't have anything else better to do. And so I thought, well, I'll read this book. So I did. And prior to that, I had given my life to the Lord. I did the token things that Christians do. I went to church. I prayed occasionally. I checked all the boxes, but I certainly did not know the Lord. And so as I began reading this book, Crazy Love, the Lord met me in a totally new way. And He asked me to open a free clinic. And I laughed at that. And I thought, what on earth? He's called the wrong person. This is ridiculous. So after I continued to read, it was there page after page, every page that I turned, it said, open a free medical clinic. And so I finally told my husband, I think maybe the Lord is asking me to open a free medical clinic. And he also laughed and said, Hilary, we sat down and did a budget to open a clinic to make money, and let alone a free clinic. Like, where's that money come from? I don't know. And so I continued to digest and process that. Again, I did not know the Lord. And so I was wrestling with, are these thoughts my own thoughts? Are these God's thoughts? Whose thoughts are these? And so after a month of wrestling and laughing and being told that I was crazy by a lot of people, I finally decided to tap into my church family. And so I went to my church family and I said, I just would ask that you pray for me. I feel like God's calling me to open a free clinic, and I don't know what that means. I don't even know what free clinics do, but if you would pray with me, that'd be awesome. And oh my goodness, it took off. The word spread quickly. There were so many people praying. The Lord assembled a great team of people. We all came together and called ourselves a working board. The funny thing is, none of us knew what free clinics even did. So we had lots of laughter through that. It was fun to meet the Lord in those moments. It was, we partnered with a national entity that helps free clinics, helps develop and open free clinics. And we were about 9 months into the process, and I can remember meeting with them, and they said, we've never partnered with a group of people who have made it as far as you've made it without any guidance. And I remember laughing and saying, well, but this is God's clinic, and He knows exactly what needs to be done, and so we're just following His lead. And 18 months after the Lord took me through Crazy Love, we opened the door to Arubah Community Clinic. And, as I talk about this, I laugh because it doesn't seem real. I don't feel like I was part of it because it's so outlandish and the details are so crazy. It was 18 months of learning obedience to the Lord. It was 18 months of sacrifice, 18 months of surrendering, 18 months of being still and listening to the Lord, and 18 months of celebrating, even in those moments when I would beat my head against the door thinking, what are we doing? What are we doing? And then the door would open and it'd be like, okay, this is what we're doing. And I remember, I didn't know Him. I knew of Him, but I did not know Him. And so through this journey, He brought me to know an intimate relationship with Him and what that looks like. And He's taught me His faithfulness, and Arubah is an example of His faithfulness. And His word is true. He is faithful. And to those who step out on a leap of faith, as people would say, He will meet you in those moments. As the founder of Arubah, it's been amazing to sit back and to watch all of you become part of the Arubah story. And even if you just tell other people about Arubah, you are part of the story of Arubah. So thank you for joining us on this adventure. This adventure is far from over. It is definitely the story of Arubah. And as I tell of my story, I do pray that you see him through my story because he is amazing. And we hope and we prayerfully wait. We know that God's going to continue to open our clinic more often, and it takes you being part of that story. So we'd love for you to be part of the Arubah story. And so there are many ways that you can find us. The first way to find us is on our website, arubahclinic.com. There's volunteer now, there's donate now. Those are probably the two easiest. And then we also have our Facebook page that you can connect with us. But we would love to know you and to invite you to invest in our community and the souls that we are changing.